Hello and welcome to another edition of AttractWell Office Hours. I'm Coach Ashley, joined today by founder of AttractWell, Greg Kilwine. Hey, Greg.
Hey everyone, really glad to hear today.
We're excited to have you here today where we're talking about how you can launch a group offer quickly. We've actually just wrapped up. Last weekend, we had the Perennial Program Workshop, which was just incredible, bringing people together, exploring what their topics are for what they want to sell next. And quite often, these are large undertakings, right? Like I want to develop an offer that I can sell forever and that's got great leverage to it, right? Lots of incredible options that you can pursue, but sometimes you just want to get something done that you can start selling in a couple of weeks or maybe even less time. So today, I want to take you through the steps that you need to follow to make sure you've got everything in place to launch a group offer as quickly as possible. So without further ado, we're going to get out a video and into the slides that I've prepared for you guys today. We do have a checklist that we'll be following along with as well. As you're coming in, come into the chat. Let us know where you're coming in from. It's awesome to have you here. We're excited to have you. We are live here every Thursday at 2 p.m. US Eastern Time. We talk about something a little different every week, show you how to work smarter in your business, and of course, how to use AttractWell to do it. So today we're talking about how you can launch your group offers quickly, and I do have a step-by-step guide for you, as promised. And if you came here today with questions, even if they don't pertain squarely with today's topic, you are more than welcome to add those questions to the Q&A right now. We are here to help you on this call, no matter what. This is a great opportunity for you to get live feedback. If you're more of a hands-on visual learner, this is an opportunity for us to help you. So if you're here looking for help, you can ask for it. If you'd like to join us, if you're watching this as a recording on our YouTube channel, come join us again sometime. AttractWell.com/office hours is where you want to go to join us live on Zoom. Again, live every Thursday at 2 p.m. US Eastern Time outside of holidays. And this is a great opportunity to get to know AttractWell better if you're considering a move to us. And of course, if you're using AttractWell, we give you all kinds of tools and resources, including done-for-you templates, such as what is included for you here today to help you go and implement quickly in the system. And if you'd like to work together live, like two people have chosen to do here today, we have a packed call. You can go to attractwell.com/work review. This is an opportunity for you to reserve time in the second half of these hour-long calls. We do reserve the last 30 minutes for working together. So if you'd like to claim one of those spots, this is where you want to go. And if you need help, you can also get someone to do the work for you, qualified someone on our team. That's attractwell.com/concierge. It's where you're going to want to go to get started with help to that end. All right, so what we'll cover today are the 5 steps that you'll need to follow to quickly launch a group offer in AttractWell. We'll get into some live help and Q&A as well. So first, let's talk about a group program. If you've never offered a group program, and look, if you haven't, this is actually a great opportunity to get started, because the last thing I want you to do is to chase an idea for 6 months only to offer something that may or may not flop, right? Because we're never going to guarantee that we're perfect at developing offers for our audience. We are always a work in progress. So it's better to ideate and get things into action quickly so that you can learn more quickly and absorb that knowledge to be able to come up with something more effective, right? So a group program is going to help you to build community and deeper connections with your audience, and it's going to help you to deliver a more transformational experience to more people at the same time. And of course, this allows you to scale, right? It allows you to create scalable income. The same time that you would take to create a transformation with one person, you can use to create with many, making a bigger impact. And then, of course, you are getting that many more paying clients that you're serving at the same time. So group programs, as they are offered in AttractWell, typically are going to be held in a vault, although they don't have to be. Things like workshops, 100% can just simply be held on Zoom, where you send out campaign messages to allow people to get on the calls, and then you can email out a link to the recording as it's uploaded into your AttractWell system. A vault is going to be a more rich experience. I am going to walk you through what it looks like to get a vault set up today quickly. But this is, I should note, really important if you're looking to get something done fast and the bulk of what you're going to be doing is on calls, right? If you're going to be on Zoom calls, group Zoom meetings, and that is the vast majority of what you're delivering, and you don't have a bunch of videos and stuff that they need to look through, and they don't necessarily need to be discussing anything in a discussion room, you can actually skip a vault to quickly launch a group program and simply have the conversation that you're having with them in those live calls, and of course, the emails that go out to remind them of when the calls are held. But if you're going to use a vault, you are going to potentially want to have a discussion room. If you have some type of curricular structure, maybe you're having them watch videos and then you're meeting on live calls, you may choose to have an online class where you can have those videos structured into lessons. You could also, of course, utilize a date-based campaign. I believe this is necessary for any group program. You don't have to go and pre-schedule every single email. You can go ahead and set up a campaign ahead of time that applies to everyone. And then, of course, you'll be using Zoom that's included with AttractWell. And potentially, again, depending on how you do this, you might use the calendar booking feature. Now, you'll use this for group coaching, live cohorts, workshops, recurring classes, memberships, masterminds, and so much more. We've actually even done a training before on how to set up a vault for running a book club, for instance, in AttractWell, which is a really fun thing that you can do inside of your vaults. Now, the resources that I have shared with you today, and they are in the checklist that was sent to you guys via email. We'll include this in the description on the YouTube video replay as well. You're going to have a checklist, and that checklist has a link to a resource bundle in it in AttractWell. And that resource bundle contains a vault that has a discussion room, a live calls and replays page, and a campaign that we will set up as a date-based campaign for your program. Now, the first thing that we need to make sure that we do is outline our program content. So in order for us to do anything moving forward, right, we want to create a leverage tool that helps us to do what we're doing better. Well, we can't build a leverage tool that helps us do what we're doing better if we aren't clear on what we're doing in the first place, right? So get super clear on exactly what you're doing. So what are the goals of your program? What's the outcome? What are they going to learn? What are they going to achieve? What is the outline of what is included here? You're also going to want to create a schedule for your session dates and times, right? And of course, any assigned topics or themes for those session dates and times. And then you'll also want to get clear on your deliverables, right? Are there video modules? Will you be including worksheets? Will you be including replays, and how and for how long? And are you including any bonuses? So just make sure you've got all of this clearly outlined first, right? From there, we're going to set up our vault. So what we'll do to do this is we'll claim our resource bundle, and then we'll customize our vault. We'll edit the discussion room or delete it. And mind you, if this seems fast, don't worry, all of this is on your checklist. I'm going to go over this real quick in the slide, and then I'm going to switch my view and actually show you exactly what it looks like to do it. Okay, just giving you a preview here. So we're going to customize the vault. We're going to either keep or delete the discussion room. If we're keeping it, we're going to need to brand it and set it up, put some words in it. And then we may need to, of course, edit the live calls and replays page, include our Zoom link, etc. And if you do want to have a click to download calendar for folks who want to go ahead and put all of the dates that you have set up onto their own calendar, you actually don't use the AttractWell booking feature for this because these are calls that you already have scheduled. There's a free tool. This Meridot is free. And I'll do a quick demo on how to use it here in just a bit, but you're going to create a calendar file, upload it to your AttractWell system, and then when they just click from that page or from an email, they'll be able to automatically import those calendar events onto their device, onto the calendar on their device. And then, of course, you can edit or delete any placeholders for the replays on the replay page. So I'm going to go ahead and switch my share up and actually show you what on earth I'm actually talking about here. So let's go and take a look. Okay, so I have our checklist open here. I'm assuming that you already know what you're offering, right? So make sure, again, you're super clear on that and step one is done. Next thing we're going to do is claim our resource bundle. So I'm going to come over here and do that right now. And you can see we've got a campaign and we've got a vault. I'm going to click here to grant permission and claim. There we go. And inside of my vault, here we go. I can go and open that up. And voila, we have a discussion room and we have a live calls and replays page. Now we do want to rename the vault for the offer, right? So we've got our vault name right here. Let me minimize this. So maybe my offer is going to be, this is going to be, what are we naming it? We're going to call this 6-week wellness transformation. This is not a very good name. It does not speak to a it does not speak to the solution to a problem. Don't use this as an example, but I'm just going to use that here for now. We've renamed the vault for our offer. We're going to go down here to entry settings. And here, this is the button that will show up inside the vault. So if they are, sorry, inside the member area, when they log into your member area, they're going to see a description for the vault, and they're going to have a button there that they can click. So we'll call this, since this is a wellness transformation, I'll stay alliterative workshop. So here I will say, enter the workshop. And here I'll put a quick summary. So this is transform your wellness from morning till night in 6 weeks. In just 6 weeks. Okay, there's our short summary. And then we can come down here to branding. This is where you are going to potentially want to maybe add a cover photo, main photo, and then if you want to have a message that they see in the vault when they log in, like they click that button and they say enter the workshop, there's going to be maybe a welcome message at the top. So we'll say welcome, choose from one of the options below to get started. Right? I'm going to save this. And we can actually go view it so we can see how things are going. Voila, here's that welcome message. We can see our live calls and replays in our discussion room, and I can go back to the member area and look for this. And it's right here. It doesn't have a photo, so that would be like that main photo. Like these have a main photo. This one does not. When I click, you can actually see that transform your wellness from morning to night in just 6 weeks, right? Now we need to go take a look at what we're offering here. Now, if you, and I'm going to come back up here to content, this is what's in the vault. If you plan to offer group discussion, open-ended group discussion, meaning people can go and post whatever they post, questions, etc., and you want that engagement happening, then you should absolutely modify this feature. If you don't plan to have it, you can simply remove this. This about this discussion room is going to show up above the actual discussion part on the page. So introduce yourself below and share what you hope to get from this transformation. And I'm going to save that. And then, of course, we can also adjust branding and messaging here to keep it congruent with what you're setting up for the rest of the vault here itself. Right? So that's our group discussion. And again, you can set up branding there if you want to. You don't absolutely have to. It's a nice little bonus. But you also have this live calls and replays page. And let me show you what the published version looks like. This is where you're going to be adding your schedule. And this is where you can also, of course, add your, so this is where you would actually place your schedule. You would have them click here to add to their calendar if you're going to use that Meridot service that's free. And then, of course, you can put all of your coming soon replay stuff down here. Okay, so how do we set this up? We're going to click it. Up here, you're of course going to want to modify this, right? So what are the days and times if it's recurring, right? If you want to have them join a link and join a call in progress, this is, or if you just want them to be able to click to open, put your Zoom URL right here. That's the join link. And just to show you where you find that in AttractWell, under Zoom and events, go to Zoom meetings. I like to actually create a recurring link for this. So maybe this is my 6-week one. This is get link right here. This is the join link that you want to share. And so I would actually pop that right here in the URL and click update. And then this right here, if I want to add this to calendar, what I'm going to do for this is I'm going to go to, it's ical.maru.com. This is totally free. And I'm going to create a new event. And this is going to be a weekly wellness workshop. And I'm going to begin, these are going to start February, and they're going to last 1 hour. And this is going to repeat 6 times. I'm going to add the description. I'm going to put the location. There's that Zoom link. So this is maybe the description. So this is the live cohorts for the 6-week wellness transformation, whatever the name of your program is. All right, so I'm going to save and close. Now, this would be an instance for how I would do this if the title is the same every week. You might choose to set this up a little differently and bundle them all together, export them here all together into a calendar file. I'm keeping it simple because this is just going to be live cohorts for the 6-week wellness transformation. If each of yours is titled differently, right? Or if maybe you're selling access to each one separately, or they could do the whole thing, then I would create a unique one for each of the instances instead of repeating, right? And then you just export them here to a calendar file. And yes, that's right. You can add multiple dates and change those dates. That's right. And you would just add a new one and you export them all as a single ICS file. You download this. And then what you do is you come over here to AttractWell. And actually from right here where we're editing, we can go to More Rich and insert or manage. Oop, not that one. Sorry, we want to upload files. That's this one. And then I can go and grab that from my downloads. And I'm actually going to rename this real quick just to make this easier. This is going to be 6-week cohort calls and upload. And it's showing up in a weird place. That's fine. I'm going to copy the link and Command Z to make it go away. And then I'm going to Command V, paste right here. So that file is now here. And when somebody goes, once you publish this page, when they click this, it's going to automatically import those calendar dates straight onto their calendar, right? So if you're looking for a way to allow people to put stuff onto their calendar, but you don't need them to select and book times because they're already decided, right? We wouldn't be using the AttractWell booking feature. We would simply be adding these to that ical.maru.com thing that creates the calendar file, right? So we're going to pop that in here. We'll use this again for our campaign, by the way. Upload your program logo in here. Obviously, this is all templated for you to be able to go in and make changes. If you want to change the background image here or just remove it, you certainly can. So I can just say none. Maybe I can give it a color, right? So you can make modifications here to your liking. If you'd like, you can simply hide these sections. If you don't want to outline what's going to be included, you can hide these. And then as you have the replays ready, you can unhide them. Cool. So this is the live calls and replays page. When you've got this done, you've basically got the vault done, right? That's all you got to do for the vault. Now, the next thing that we need to do is to work on our campaign. Now, what if I don't remember the name of the campaign that I just claimed from this resource bundle? What if we just forget? That's okay. Go to Content Library, Resource Bundles, My Claimed. And here's the one that you claimed. We're going to go look for the name of that. I'm just clicking Claim again. And that's called Group Program Live Calls. Okay, now I can go back and find it. I'm going to type in Group Program Live Calls. There we go. There's my campaign. All right. So in here, I have 3 email templates for you basically to use here. All of these are for a specific purpose, and you can use these and replicate these inside of this campaign for you to be able to create your date-based campaign for your offer. First things first, go into settings and modify the name of this campaign. Right now, it's just called Group Program Live Calls. Change this to the name of your program and indicate that it is for live calls. So your name of program, live calls. And put the same name over here. If they try to modify, if your contact tries to modify their email preferences from you, for instance, this is what they're going to see, right? So make sure that this reflects what you want to show there. Once you've got that done, and this is right here, we are going to change these. So the first one here is our first call is tomorrow. So that's going to be the day before. So if my coaching program is starting on the 3rd of February, right? That's right here. Then I want to send this message on the 2nd. And day 1 is a day after the campaign was applied. So that means I'm going to apply this campaign on the 1st. So there we go. This is going to send on February 2nd, the day before our first call. And so you're going to want to click this. And then obviously put your group program name in here, say what you want to say here. All we're doing with this email is saying, looking forward to seeing you on a call tomorrow. Look for a link to join and go live. And if you are using a vault, of course, and by the way, if you aren't using a vault, use this campaign. You're going to need this campaign either way, right? And you don't need to put a link in here. You could maybe put a link to that Meridot file. You can say, want to add all of our calls to your calendar. Click here to add them, right? And then that click here, we're going to hyperlink with that file that we already have. Oops, it's this one. That file that we already have. Here we go, 6-week cohort calls, copy link. And I'm going to say click here to add them. Oops, when it does that, just do it one more time. There we go. Click here to add them, right? You don't need to put the Zoom link in here because we're going to send that right before we go live. They're getting this a day before. Now, the default time for these campaigns is 5 p.m. Central US time. You may choose to change that here to a specific time of day. Maybe you want to remind them the morning the day before. Totally up to you. You get to decide. Now, the next thing that we're going to do here is go into our live call is about to begin, right? So this one, we actually do need to link to Zoom. Again, if you don't remember where that is, go back down here to your Zoom meetings. We'll open that up in a new tab. And we'll grab that join link right there. We'll pop that in right here. And I'll say join now. And I'll make that a link. Maybe even make that a button. And save the message, right? Finally, you can optionally include a replay link. And you can choose to send this out maybe the next day, depending on how long you feel it might take you to get the replay processed and uploaded to your vault. But here you would put a link to your vault, right? Or you could delete this one and don't worry about it, right? If you're not dealing with replays or you aren't using a vault. Now, finally, how do we use this to build the rest of our campaign? Well, what we'll do is we'll duplicate each one. So if our call is tomorrow, I'm going to copy this one and I'm going to change this. So if my next call is going to be, if they're going to be on Mondays, so my next call is going to be on the 10th. That means the next thing that I need to send is on the 9th. So let's see if that's how that works out. No, that's the 8th. So let me go. Here we go. Send February 9th. Perfect. And then I don't want to say our first call is tomorrow. I do need to change this, right? So this is how we can say we're live again tomorrow, right? Or we meet again tomorrow. And you can keep all of this the same. I'm going to save it and go back. And then I can go and duplicate this one. This needs to send on day 9 because this is day 8, right? So duplicate. Change it to 9. Here we go. Change it to, here you are, that one, to day 9. And then replay is now available. Again, I'm going to duplicate that, change it to day 10. And you just repeat for as many of these as you need. If you obviously have, like, this one is first call tomorrow, but if you keep them all evergreen, meaning they aren't pertaining, you're not talking about this specific topic or what we're covering or day of the week or whatever, then you can just repeat these, copy these as much as you need to get the whole thing filled out, right? Pretty simple. So that's the next thing that we got to do. We've got to get the campaign completed. You've got a template here to work from. Now, the final thing that we're going to do is build our payment page. And we have two options. One of those is to use Pages. The other is to set up Vault Payment. Now, this particular account doesn't have payments set up. So what I'm going to do is actually, I'm going to stop my share here for a second. I'm going to get into an account that has payments enabled, just so I can show you exactly how you would set something like this up. And I'll just log into my own, and then we can take a look at that here together. All right, so when we're setting up our vault to take payment, that'll be our first option here. I'm going to just add a vault and pretend like I did this. All right, this is, was it 6-week program vault? So I'm going to create that. Now, if I want to set this up to take payment, again, assume that I've got everything in here, like the example that I just showed you. When we go to payment setup, we're going to require a payment. And we are going to connect a payment processor. Anyone with the link can purchase this vault. This is also important because you want to be able to share this vault checkout page, provide that to people so that they can make the purchase, right? And the good news, if you're actually creating your offer and it lives inside of a vault, the cool thing about setting this up is that you don't have to try to connect them to a vault or send them to a particular confirmation page. When they buy at the vault checkout page, it's going to connect, like they're going to be set straight to the vault that they bought, right? Or to set up their login information, etc. Right? It's a very simplified process. And if this is a recurring payment offer, then of course, this is going to support that as well. So I'm going to add a plan. And this is going to be, I'm just going to name this 6-week one-time payment. There's my initial payment. They're going to pay $7.97. The tag here is going to be 6-week wellness. And I would probably in this case, because I want to go ahead and apply that campaign to them, I'm going to go ahead and create an automation that applies that campaign. So here I'm going to add an automation, and this is going to be that 6-week wellness live calls. And then I would add the campaign 6-week wellness live calls right here, right? I don't have that here in this account. So let me just go ahead and add a tag here for this purpose. And oops. There we go. So I'm just going to add this, pretend that that has a campaign on it. All right. So going back here we go. Now we can attach an automation here, and that would apply your campaign. So what I'm asking you to do here, if you're setting this up at the vault level, is to apply your campaign, that date-based campaign, utilizing an automation. Okay. So you add that plan, and then here, this is where you're going to want to add, like I've got here, the overview of what's included, the dates and times, benefits of joining, etc. Right? Because this is where they're going to be putting in their credit card information. So they do need a reminder of what they're buying. Make sure that you have that here. And then after they purchase, you can just send them straight to the vault. Pretty basic, simple setup here. Okay. Now, the other option that we have is to use a page. If you have a recurring payment option, do not use a page, use a vault checkout. But what I can do here, if I'm going to create a page, is maybe I want to use the sales page option. Here we go. How about the sales page? I obviously need to make some modifications here to our unique selling propositions, what's included, etc. But then ultimately what we want to make sure we do after we've included the details of what's in our program, dates and times, benefits of joining, is we want to go into the settings under payments. require payments, and then set this up accordingly, right? So I'm only going to be offering one option. And that is going to be right here. That's going to be, what did I say? It's $7.97. And here I'll add them to that vault. I will add that campaign, right? The one that this would be my call campaign that came from our resource bundle here today. I would tag them accordingly, right? So this would be whatever the tag is for your program. And of course, make sure if this is going to be a pop-up, if this lead form, and you can just come right back over here. If it's going to be in a pop-up, you just have to absolutely make sure that where you have a call to action on your page, in your button, the URL has this #lead. Because when they click that button, it's going to pop up and it's going to show your payment options, right? If you would prefer to have this form on the page itself, you could certainly do that as well. You want to make sure you come over here to settings, choose on the page, and then you're going to want to come down to wherever you want this to display. And I'll just maybe put one right down here. I'll create a new section. And I will just put form in brackets. And then you'll actually be able to see when we jump down to that part of the page that this will show up with your payment options and all of that good stuff, right? So that's basically it. What you got to do is first and foremost, get clear on exactly what it is that you're selling, then create the means by which you'll deliver. At the very minimum, that's going to be a date-based campaign that sends out the links to your Zoom meetings that you're going to be delivering these group programs with, right? If you're going to be utilizing a vault, obviously, go ahead and set up that one page that will eventually hold your replays and, of course, your schedule. And then finally, put the ical.merodot.com, like that file, if you would like for them to have a download of the individual sessions onto their calendar. And then finally, you want to make sure that the campaign is connected up along with the vault to the point of purchase. And this is something that you can get done in an afternoon. And then what you do moving forward is you share that page or you share that vault checkout page, right? That's what you're going to be sending out via email, text, etc. Right? All right, now I'm going to take a couple questions and then get into the live help that was requested here today. I know Catherine is here and is going to be launching something soon and has some very interesting and specific use cases that we will discuss. And then I also have Monique, I think, here too, who is looking for some review of a website. All right, Tracy says, I'm working on my webinar presentations. How many slides is too many? About how many should I use? If this is a sales webinar, and I know that you are a part of our cohorts, so I do believe that you are talking about a sales webinar, there is actually, in my opinion, there's no such thing as too many. There is, however, such thing as too much stuff on a slide. Now, the slides that you see me using most of the time on our calls are way too much to put in a sales presentation. And the reason for this is you guys are here to absorb information that you could go take action on. And even then, like sometimes too many bullets on a slide, well, it's just too many bullets on a slide, right? But where we're talking about trying to influence someone's thinking and decision-making so that they say yes to what you're pitching them on a webinar, then it really matters how you're constructing the information on your slides. You can say a lot, but your slide needs to be engaging. And if it looks like a whole bunch of stuff they need to read, they're checking out. And we need to keep them engaged for as long as possible. So less is more. I've done a ton of sales presentations, and they're very different from the stuff that I create for you guys on a weekly basis. They usually are 3 times or 4 times longer. I will have a single point on a slide with an image or something like that before I'll ever have multiple bullets. Sometimes you can have multiple bullets, it's fine, but most of the time err on the side of 1 point per slide for sales presentations. All right, what are your thoughts about having a group that has a beginning and an end versus a group that is evergreen that someone can join 1 week as well as someone in the next week? So I think that it is much easier and typically more effective to do the former, to have clear dates and times around what you're doing because you've got momentum that you're building together if you are doing stuff as a group. It's also easier to manage, group in, group out, and then you're good to go. It's easier to track people's results. The evergreen version of that is just a membership, right? Where people can hop in and do whatever they want whenever they want, which again is fine, but usually something that's kind of a catch-all offer for somebody who's got a bunch of those other types of group cohorts already. So I would generally err on the side of clearly structured, aligned, like here are the dates, cohorts, especially to start. All right, if you're doing group coaching that will require pre-work, such as videos and worksheets, but then go live, you would need to use a vault. Yes, I would generally, yeah, if they need to watch videos, what basically I would do is create the vault, just as I've shared with you here today. But in addition to the discussion room and the live calls and replays page, I would create an online class that has the lessons and the worksheets and everything in order. And then you can be very clear that, for this week of the series, we're going to be focusing on these lessons, right? And you could even have the lessons in the online class open up according to those dates as well. All right, Catherine, let me grab you and bring you out so that we can talk through your use case for launching. Hey there. I hope this helps. I know you've got a bit more. I know there's a bit more of fine tuning for your use case, I think.
Thank you. Can you hear me?
I can.
Okay.
Yeah.
Record.
Yeah. So, I mean, kind of given what we've talked about here today, tell me a little bit more about kind of where things are at for you. And because I know you're wanting to launch a beta version of what you're doing, maybe not the final ultimate leverage version, right? But
right. So the full Cadillac version has essentially 3 components. It's monthly education seminars that'll happen in February, March, April, and May. And then a group consult model, which will be on Saturdays twice per month for 2 hours at a time. And then for the people who purchase the full thing, there's a lot of bonuses and extras and a discussion group. So I've already created the vaults. The campaigns for reminders to come in. I was the one that was amazed at the idea that you could do 4 weeks worth of reminder things without creating a whole new campaign. So that's helpful. The other thing is the vaults. So I have the vault for the group discussions, and I have a vault that will hold the educational seminars. I also want to sell individual educational seminars. So if you don't want to go to all 4 for the term, then maybe you want to go to 1. And I'm thinking that's a page with just a link to the video or a link to the Zoom meeting. I've also created events in the Zoom meetings area, and I'm not sure how that interfaces with all the rest of the stuff, because you didn't bring that up today.
Yeah. So events are typically going to be publicly listed, and they can be privately shared as well, but events are like an RSVP system. Okay. Right? So this would be like in lieu of like an Eventbrite or Facebook events or something like that. That's what the events feature works as. A clarifying question for you. So you have the cohorts where you're focused around a particular topic per month, right?
4 months. 4 months at a time.
Okay.
Yeah.
And so each of these 4 times that you meet in this, so somebody is either buying the entire 4 months and being able to join all 4 calls because you're meeting once a month, right?
Well, the group things are twice a month, but yes.
Twice a month. Okay. So they can pick topic 1, 2, 3, or 4. And in any of those cases, they're going to meet twice a month. So if we'll say A, B, C, D, and E is all of the above. So if you have an A, B, C, D, or E, all of the above option, if they join for A, they get 2 calls. B, they get 2 calls. C, 2 calls, etc. Right?
Not really.
No.
The idea was for the group calls, they would sign up for 8 calls for the 4 months. Okay. And then they can re-up for the next term if they want to. And if they re-up for the next term, then they're still in the vault and they can still get the old access to the old stuff. Does that make sense?
Yes, but you mentioned like so how do you plan to sell A, B, C, D separate from each other? If they're only doing A, why would they be on all 8 calls?
So because the customer base needs to have hours of those calls. So the calls and the topics for education are separate, right? So they need every 2 weeks to have those, or twice a month to have those calls. So they have four hours in a month, and they
Mhm.
can sign up for 4 months at a time. Meantime, they also need continuing education, and those will be offered in the same 4 month period on a subject level. So the customer base is going to want either those 16 hours worth of calls
Mhm.
and or the knowledge base, the continuing education. So those are sort of two separate products that the typical customer would need both of them.
Okay. Okay. So that means that to get the 16 hours, like they're looking for 16 credit hours to be able to
Mhm.
receive this continuing education credit that you're signing off on, right?
They
And
need 16 supervision hours. They need 8 continuing education. So yeah,
okay.
yeah, yeah,
Okay. There's a
yeah,
lot of moving pieces here.
it
Okay.
is.
So, but then what is the option where they can do 1, 2, 3, like A, B, C, D? It sounds like
The
they need to do
education
all of them.
stuff. There's a
So,
once a month education, and they
and is
may
that a
be,
call?
it'll like on a Zoom event. Yeah, yeah.
Is that
But
separate
it's
from these twice a month ones that we were just talking about?
correct. There's education didactics, and then
Okay.
the twice a month is talk through
Supervision,
cases.
right? Is
Yes.
that okay?
Yes.
So the twice a month one, that's the supervision one, and that's a
Correct.
separate option, correct?
Correct.
Okay. Both of these cases, so if they sign up and they get the content and the once a
Mhm.
month call, right?
Correct.
Or they
Yes.
could also get the content, the once a month call, and all of these other calls if they want to get the credits because they got that's the supervision one
Bingo.
you're talking about, right?
Bingo. Bingo. Yeah.
Okay. Yes. All right.
Yeah.
So what we're
Yeah.
doing is we're creating a vault. And the vault has a class, right?
Hmm.
The class has all of the learning content. I assume you have all of this, right? My gosh,
Yep.
if you're launching next month. Okay. And you've got
Yep.
all of that organized into a class for this
Correct.
first one you're doing. Beautiful. Okay. So for each term, right? Your term is your
Hmm.
4 month thing that's got all the topics that
Correct.
are in the class. Create a class in AttractWell per term.
Correct.
Yeah.
Yep.
Um, and that way you can swap them out.
Hmm.
Or probably I would do a vault per term.
Uh-huh.
And that way you could very easily, like, people can retain access to a vault, potentially.
Yes.
Like we'd have to kind of look at this a little bit closer, maybe on a separate call. But
Um,
essentially what I would look at doing. Actually, no, I have one more clarifying question for you. So they can get just the educational stuff. And it sounds like you want them, like, are they buying the whole term, or are you offering one of the different topics in the term, like, separate from each other? Right. Like, and I'm not talking about, like,
mhm.
if they're trying to get CEs, they're doing all of the twice a month calls regardless. Right. Like you're all in for the whole thing, right? If you're doing that.
So the twice a month calls are supervision, and my
Right.
typical customer needs 200 hours. So in
Mhm.
4 months, they can have 16, right?
Yep.
In terms of the CEs, the knowledge base, I think people are going to want the 4 seminars, the 4 classes, but there's a possibility that they'll be like, I only work with kids. I'd like to just go to this one.
Mhm.
And if it's possible for me to sell the just this one, I would love to do that. But that might make things too hard. And I'm okay with, nope, you got to have all 4 because they build on each other, because they do.
So I would, especially in the beginning, like I would
Mhm.
allow that need to reveal itself and decide
Yeah.
later if you want to complicate your life that way.
Love it.
Because what you could choose to do, and it wouldn't be super hard, is if you broke down the classes even further. So instead of taking a term and making an entire term one class in
Uh-huh.
AttractWell, you would take each of the top level topics, the four of those ostensibly for the entire term, make those individual classes, and then you would be able to have, you know, more easy modularity later on if you wanted to just create a one-off vault for those options. I would not cross that bridge until you get to it, though. You know, because the other option, it's less time for you, it's easier for you, it's less infrastructure for you, and you're getting more money. So, like,
good point.
Yeah. I would err on the side of just keeping it simple. But then, yeah, what we would be looking at then is folks are either going all in on the education, just getting the education in the one call a month, or they're going all in, like completely all in. They've got the education, they got those calls, and they've got the twice a month calls with you, correct?
Correct. Okay, that's my Cadillac. Yeah.
So it's do they get replays from the supervision calls?
Probably not, because I don't know that somebody would actually want to do that.
Beautiful. I love it. I love it. Perfect. So then what you want to do is just use one vault for everybody. And what you'll be, so there's going to be some intricacies you get into as to sort of scheduling the supervision. It could be that you have already kind of predetermined which Saturdays those are and what the time of day it is. And I would just do what I showed you guys earlier with the Meridot, the free tool, and just have that already done so they could just add that to their calendar, and you don't have to goof around with setting up calendar booking and like allowing people to choose for them. They're paying, it's done, here are the dates, take it or leave it, voila, here you go, right? Especially now in the beginning. Could you change this in the future to make it more accommodating? Yes, but like, again, why give yourself a problem when it hasn't revealed itself to you yet? Because it may never. So yeah, one vault, everything in it. Have an automation at the point of purchase that applies a secondary campaign to the people who purchase the additional supervision. And then that's going to give them the reminders for the calls and anything else that you might want to talk to them about. But then everything is in that one vault. Yeah. Now, in the case that you are allowing people to retain vault access beyond a period of time, you know, that's something to, I mean, again, it's not something you have to address before you launch this. It's something that you can work out later. But yeah, essentially what you can be doing is during this next term, while you've got this whole thing live, you can actually begin just rebuilding the same system with the other knowledge base that you're going to be launching next. You're going to be selling that during this term anyway, you know, offer a nice little discount to, you know, clients that are going through this one right now, you know, if you want to join the next term, yada, yada, right? But then you have a new vault that you're putting them into. Replicate all the same tools, pop your new knowledge base in there. And then again, you can be filling the next cohort while the current one is running. And then you don't have to worry about like juggling people in and out of vaults. We do have automations that will remove people from a vault after a certain amount of time has passed, or maybe at the close of a campaign. So like this would be something that you can actually add to the final message of one of these date-based campaigns, that maybe that will remove them from the vault. You know, there's lots of different ways that you can go about doing that. But since you're going to be running a limited size cohort in the beginning anyway, it's going to be very manageable to be able to handle those details.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, sure thing. All right. I also have, and thank you so very much for your patience. Let me see, Maureen. Let me find you. Yes, here you are. Hi. How can we help? I think we're going to take a look at your website. Looks like you are unmuted.
Can you hear me now?
I can, yes.
Good. Yes. Yes. So I've put the website together the best that I can. And I just really wanted somebody to have a look at it and make sure the links are working and everything's in place. And also the homepage. I've been looking at it just lately. I think it might be a bit too messy. Maybe, you know, people have got a very short attention span. And so I really wanted the front page to be sort of boom, 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 rather than a lot of text. So that's really been my main problem there.
Okay.
But that's a landing page.
Oh, okay.
That's a landing page, and I've been quite successful with that because I sort of sent out a campaign, and I managed to get some people to come on there, and this is on Facebook. I was quite successful. They came on, and I got 20 people off of one ad. So my ad must be, working pretty well. I've put the same ad out again so I could get some more people in. So that's actually in progress at the moment. And I've been sending email campaigns to these people. Like before Christmas, I sent a little, Happy Christmas, and then it was like Happy New Year, and then I've now asked them, because I've also been so busy. I've also written some ebooks as well about this, about being 50 and fabulous. It's for the people late 40s, early 50s, any sort of when ladies get older, they have like menopausal problems, all kinds of things going on in their lives. Their lives can be really quite complicated. You'd think, wouldn't you, that it was sort of slowing up a bit, but that's not actually what happens. I mean, take it from me. And so, they might be, as you can see, they might lack self-confidence. They might be working and they're not doing as well at work as they hoped. And unfortunately, you do get a lot of kind of, what can I say? I don't know if it's misogyny or what it is, but a lot of ladies, when they get to their late 40s or 50s, they can be seen by employers as being over the hill. Are in their prime. Do you see what I mean? So of course, women then tend to start losing confidence. Very difficult then for them to think that that to put themselves forward for promotion and that kind of thing. So this is what my coaching is about. Basically, it's personal development coaching for ladies, roughly sort of 50 years old. And I've also written lots of blogs. So I've been really, really busy. However, I am very busy, but don't have any coaching clients. So I'm thinking, well, what is the problem then? That's kind of what I need to know.
Yeah. So, so first of all, there is something that you're doing that's working, right? Like that you're getting some great response, right?
Yeah.
So really lean into what that looks like. And it's very likely happening close to where you're interacting with your people online, right? Like this is very likely going to be connected to, say, like, your social media and where you're connecting there.
Yeah.
In terms of your website, there is a busyness to it. And that can detract. One of the things, if you want to kind of get in the head of your ideal client, if we're talking about someone who is a bit older, the older someone is, the more likely it is that visual overwhelm and information overwhelm on web pages, navigations, things like that. The older someone gets, the more likely that could be an issue. And the more important it is to really edit yourself to make sure you're getting really clear and straight to the point. You have done, I think, a really lovely job of conveying something that is welcoming and friendly and feminine and kind of speaking, almost like inviting someone into your kitchen for a cup of tea, right? Like you are giving that vibe, and I can tell you're doing that intentionally. What I would encourage you to do is look for ways to communicate that with words and choosing just a little bit fewer visual elements, right? So having this section, like with the butterfly and the dots and everything in the background, is great if it's just by itself and we've got a nice sort of like white or gray sort of, or purple even sort of area here where there's a nice solid contrast on the text. There's both, like with the image being here, it's visually a bit too busy, and there's more copy here that then really needs to be here along with the busyness. You can't say, make yourself seen and heard, right? And that can be the thing that lives up here at the top. Make yourself seen and heard, rediscover your power, passion, and purpose. If you're in your 50s and beyond, you're in the right place, right? That's the kind of thing that we want to put right up here. And we already have personal development coaching up here in the top, so we don't really need to say it again right here. So
you put the rediscover your parent passion underneath, make yourself seen and heard. Yeah.
I'll show you an example of how I might do something like this.
Okay. Yeah. Thank you. Yeah.
Yeah. And I believe this is home. Yeah, it's your home page. There we go. Yeah. So what I would do in this section, I'm just going to make a duplicate of this. Oops. Oh, no, that's not duplicate. That's delete, duplicate. Here we go. All right. So there's a lot in it. I'm in this section. I'm going to go in and I'm just going to take all this stuff and I would do the same here for you. I would actually duplicate the section before you make massive changes.
Okay.
Because that's going to make your life a little easier. So I'm gonna simplify this section up here to this point. All right, so here's my text. And so this is make well. All right. All right, so here's what I would do. Let me just get all of this. All right, I'm just going to make sure that I don't have any, oops. All right, here's my whole section here. I'm just going to delete any extraneous additional spacing and get this centered. I will also maybe make this one a bit bigger, give it a little bit of contrast. Okay, and then what I'll do is go to element styles here and then select. I might want to maybe restart with some of this just because this section there's something going on here with how it's set up. But I would increase the opacity here just to make sure that it's showing up well, right? You can kind of see where you're seeing a contrast there, just to make sure that the words are visible, right?
See, I could never get a banner across there. That's why that make yourself seen and heard is sort of small. For some reason, I couldn't kind of make it go right across the top. See what I mean? I couldn't get it to go.
Got you. Yeah. So
I don't know what was happening there. I don't know what was happening.
We can just always, I'll start from one column here and let me go back to edit content. I can just kind of copy what I have right here. And I will paste that into here.
You're so quick.
Keyboard shortcuts are how shortcuts are how I do this.
Yeah.
All right. So
I must learn.
one step at a time. All right. So I'm going to use this paste plain text and paste that in. And then, we'll just get back to center. We'll make that nice and large, and your purple. Oh, make sure you have all of your colors in there. I think that one might be it. And I'm going to bold this one and make this larger. Oop, not quite that large. I'm going to go maybe I'll shrink this one down. How about that? Okay. So let's also go ahead and add that background image that you're using, which I think was this one or something similar. Let me delete this other one that I didn't do well. All right, so now we've got this section here. It does have, I want to delete that space underneath. So now there it is. So now what I want to do is use this element style editor, and I'm going to select that box where the text is, and I'm going to increase its opacity. You can see I could take it all the way white. Yes. I'm going to just kind of fade that a little bit. And I want to round the corners a little bit because I think, that's kind of going in keeping with the style of what you are kind of doing here. It's not like a lot of hard edges. So I'm going to give that a little bit of roundness and then give it a little bit of padding at the top so that it looks even inside of that space. And then in the section itself, I can also add some padding at the top and padding at the bottom and even adjust where that background is showing up, right? Maybe I want that butterfly there, or maybe I want that one there. I can just kind of move that to where I want it. So what I would do with this section here is really say what you're trying to say here. Make yourself seen and heard, rediscover your power, passion, and purpose, and then say, you know, if you're a woman over 50 looking to thrive in life and work, you're in the right place, right? Something like that. And then this would be something that I would, I would maybe do a little, like I'd make it italicized perhaps. But essentially that's what this whole little section is for. And then you, again, just use this element style editor. Let's connect the whole box here. It does need some more padding on the top and the bottom to make this stand out nicely. We'll give it some left and right padding as well. Right. And you could even go and center the text, but this is kind of what I'm getting at here, is that it's really it's important that we edit the volume of the stuff that we're doing.
That's better.
Yeah.
So do I need that other one though? The bright bluey, would I need that as well?
This would be more fitting perhaps as an image that you attach to your signature in your emails, or that you maybe have somewhere on social media. Right, because what this is really kind of doing is creating a redundancy for other things that should be showing up on your website. And I think there's a better way to deliver this information in such a way that encourages someone to scroll through what's on the screen and click through what's on your website. We don't want to pound everything in right up front. We want to let them know, hey, you're here, enjoy yourself, grab a cup, let's explore.
Oh, I see. Yes. Okay.
Yeah.
Yes, I've got
so
you.
This along these lines is really for any of the pages on your website. I would make sure that you are keeping consistent branding. I noticed that some of the themes and stuff are still maybe some of the built-in images and text and things like that from what you would have maybe claimed from us. But yeah, just make sure that you are applying consistent colors, fonts, imagery. I think the butterfly theme is lovely, and I think it's going to speak just right to the message that you're making. But just make sure that once you do it, just kind of step back and ask yourself, think about, in your case, perhaps think about the oldest potential person in your audience and what stresses them out about interacting with websites and tech. Put yourself in their shoes and say, okay, how can I make sure that this is easy for them and serves them really well? And typically, no matter who your audience is or how old they are, it's best to just simplify and provide very clear, straight paths.
See, that's what I was thinking. I was looking at it and thinking for quite some time now that in actual fact it was too messy. It was too much text and too much information.
I do think I think messy is a little harsh. I think
I'm harsh on myself.
Well, yeah, I would. So you've got everything that you need here, but the fact is that you could take all of this great copy, and it is great copy, and these images are great, and you could expand this out into a longer website that has less stuff per section, that's easier for them to interact with. The sort of philosophy behind designing a web page is not to dump everything out as quickly as possible, but to allow the unfolding of a scroll, right? Like we want them to spend, and this is for your SEO and for your website's authority, especially, you want them to spend as much time as possible on your website. And so you want to provide them space to scroll. And also importantly, if it's too difficult to navigate or read, they're going to leave. And so they're not going to spend enough time there, right? So yeah, that's, I would expand this out further. So I would create, one paragraph. So let's just say, for instance, like, this much would be the absolute maximum I would put in a section.
Really? Gosh.
Yes. And then I would make this a large section, right? That's on its own. And then I might also, have this in another one, right? You see where I'm going with that? Like we're actually developing this out, expanding it out into more.
Right. Okay. So the high down to do you often. That would be the only thing on my home page then, that first part.
Oh, no. You would have,
Oh.
you could have absolutely all of it on your homepage, right? You would have all of it on your homepage. You would just not have it all in one section, right? You would
Yes,
break it
I
up
see.
into multiple sections.
Oh, so break it up. Okay, I
Yeah.
see what you mean. Break
Yeah,
it
you
up
got it.
into, and so they're scrolling down. They're scrolling down. Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah. Yeah, because no matter what device they're on, there's no way to just say everything that you need inside of a single screen most of the time, right? Because they're going to be on different size devices, and again, there's a benefit to scrolling. The more they're scrolling, the more they're spending time with you and your message, right? So we don't want to be egregious. We don't want to waste anybody's time. We still want to like be clear on the point. But the better we can space things out, the easier it's going to be received. We have to, so think about this for a second. When you purchase a book, you know that you want to sit down and you want to read those pages.
Yes.
When you interact with something online, say a stranger who seems intriguing that might have information that you would like to have, you aren't buying anything, right? You're casually engaging. And so we have to place our information in such a way that we're kind of bridging a gap between like boredom and curiosity and actual commitment to knowing and learning something, right? They're not coming to your website to read an academic study, right? No. They're coming to you because they're curious. And the way that we engage curious is a lot different than the way we engage educationally. Because again, it's a level of investment, right? So we have to assume a lack of investment and an extreme distractibility. And so scrolling is how you keep that part of the brain engaged. Because it's like, oh, new information, animations, ooh, like that child brain that we have, lizard brain, I don't know. The thing that the social media algorithms are built to trick into, you can basically take advantage of that same thing by creating more scroll on your website.
Because that's what I've done in my ebooks. The ebooks are quite humorous actually, and all the images are sort of cartoony type, and what it's doing is it's breaking up all the text with something really funny, so that it's keeping them engaged all the way through. So I know what you mean. I know exactly what you mean.
Yeah, it's the same philosophy. Anytime you have a lot to say, the more you can break it up visually, especially. And then, of course, injecting humor can keep things light and keep things moving. Yeah.
Definitely. Well, thank you ever so much, Ashley. And what you've just done on my website, will it stay on there, or do I have to take a screenshot so I can remember what you told me?
I didn't save it because I actually I accidentally did a thing. But here, I'll show you exactly what I did one more time. It's really simple. So I created
so I think but it was just getting the padding thing straight at the top.
That's right. So I created a one column section, and I added one of these butterfly images to the background before I did anything else, because I want to really center this around the text. So we'll say your new title goes here, and I will save this. And then maybe this is a subtitle, and this is you're in the right place.
I did kind of scribble it down. So yes.
And then I'm going to change this to heading 1, and you can obviously modify this. But just for the sake of showing, let's go ahead and take that back to our purple. Oh, sorry, you are not seeing my screen. Thanks
I'm not seeing
for that. There we go.
I'm sort of imagining it as you're going along.
Thank you. Okay, there we go. All right. So I added here real quick, just to recap, 1 column, no header. That's the section I added. I went over here. I added a background image, right? And then I went in and I edited this text. Now, the issue with this, the reason why we show we use this element style editor to add a little bit of opacity or blur behind this, is that depending on the device that they're on and where these details show up, it might be difficult to read the text. So what I do here is I choose edit element styles and then just select this whole block. And then you can just slide this guy over to make it as opaque as you want. You could even change the background color, right? I'm going to stick with the white one. And then I rounded the corners just like that. And then to this white section, I still have it selected. I'm adding some more padding to the top and the bottom, and you may choose to add it to the sides. Now, we'd also notice that we need padding in the section too, because this is just too short for what we want, because this is our sort of above the fold section. So what we'll do now is we'll click this pencil, and then we'll add padding to the entire section, top and bottom. And then you can modify as well here where you want the image to show up. Yeah,
that's good. Yeah. Okay.
And then you can also go and highly recommend that you do this just to make sure that it's looking good. You know, you go in and check it on the different sizes or the different displays. So I will save this for you. I'm going to go ahead and hide it from view just so that nothing weird happens with your website. But you can unhide that and play around with that if you like.
Lovely. And then I'll edit the rest of it. That will be a lot better. It will certainly be much easier to read, I think.
I think so too, yeah.
Everybody sort of landing on there. But anyway, so onwards and upwards.
That's right. That's right. Thanks for coming out. I can't wait to see what you do with it.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Sure thing. Sure thing. Thank you, everybody, for being here and for sharing your work with us. It is it's such an honor to be a part of your journey, seeing you out here doing great things in the world. And we're here to help you with it. So if there's something else that you would like to learn about, let us know. We'll add it to our list. We're going to be getting into planning and executing content strategies coming up here in upcoming weeks. So if you're excited about getting into more of that based on that swipe file training that we did last week, you're going to love what we have coming up soon. Look forward to seeing you guys again. We'll be back same time next week. Take care.